All right, boys, let's make an NFL team tier list. I have a feeling that this is going to be a nice, agreeable one.
Me too. I feel as if this won't be remotely unagreeable.
Let's get started.
All right, the first team we have are the Arizona Cardinals.
They're all right, but not that good.
What Trump said, they could have potential, but it's just not there.
I'll give them a C tier, just to be nice. All right, the next team we have are the Atlanta Falcons.
They're definitely a D tier. They really aren't that good at all.
They are definitely one of the lower-end teams in the NFL.
All right, D tier it is then. Now we have the Baltimore Ravens.
They do have Lamar Jackson, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL.
Good point, Sleepy Joe, and for that reason, they are an A-tier team.
All right, boys, Baltimore is an A-tier team. Now we have the Bills.
S-tier.
It's unanimous. All right, next up is the Carolina Panthers.
Just like the Falcons, they are a D-tier team. They're really not that good.
D tier it is. Now we have my favorite team, the Bears.
F-tier, the Bears suck, and they were the worst team in the NFL last year.
Donnie's right, Barack. The Bears were the worst team last year.
Oh, will both of you be quiet? They are an A tier in my eyes. Fine, I'll give them a low C tier. Next is the Cincinnati Bengals.
I got to give the Bengals an S tier. They made it in the Super Bowl 2 years ago and got into the finals last year.
I agree with Joe here. They've been playing very hard for the past years.
I agree with both of you. S tier. Now we have the Cleveland Browns.
The Browns are just the Cardinals of Ohio. They're decent, but not good.
I'll give them a nice C tier. Next is the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas is a pretty good team. It's just there's something about them that makes me want to put them in C tier.
Me too, Joe, but Dallas deserves to go into a high B tier. Next up is the Denver Broncos.
D tier, the Broncos suck, but aren't hot garbage.
I agree, D tier. Now we've got the Detroit Lions.
Last year, the Lions didn't do too bad, so I say high B tier.
I totally agree, B tier. Now we have my least favorite team, the Packers.
The Packers are neither a good or bad team, so I say B tier.
I agree with Don. Put them in B tier.
Fine, I'll put them in B tier, even though I still dislike them. Now we have the Houston Texans.
The Texans are the literal definition of hot garbage. Put them in F tier.
That's fair. I'll give them an F tier. Next is the Indianapolis Colts.
The Colts aren't that great of a team, so I say put them in C tier.
All right, Joe, I'll put them in C tier. Up next is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Just like the Lions, the Jaguars did pretty well and pushed hard later in the season.
True point, and for that reason, I'll give them a high B tier. Now we have the Kansas City Chiefs.
I already know that they're an S-tier team, but I'm still salty from the Super Bowl, and I want to put them in F tier.
I'm putting them in S tier, whether you like it or not, Joe. Next is the Los Angeles Chargers.
The Chargers are a decently good team. I say put them in B tier.
All right, Don, I'll put them in B tier. Next up is the Los Angeles Rams.
The Rams have hands down always been a great team. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and the only reason they did bad this year is because most of their good players were injured.
You meant the Rams did bad last year, right, Joe?
Last year, same thing.
I'll put the Rams as an A-tier team. Next is the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders are semi-decent, but their fans are so loud and annoying.
For that, I'll put them in C tier. Next is the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins are quite underrated.
I agree with Sleepy Joe. The Dolphins are a good team.
I'll put them in B tier. Up now is the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings are both a bad and good team at the same time, but mostly a good team considering they have players like Justin Jefferson.
You're right, Donnie. That deserves an exceptionally high B tier. Next is the New England Patriots.
My favorite team.
If I'm being honest, the Patriots are kind of mid.
Shut the hell up, Sleepy Joe.
I honestly think the Patriots are a pretty good team. They deserve an A tier. Next in line is the New Orleans Saints.
Like the Cardinals, the Saints could have potential, but it's just not there.
Good point, Joe, and for that, I'll put them in mid-C tier. Next is the New York Giants.
The Giants are definitely one of the better teams in the NFL, and for that, they deserve an A tier.
I agree, the Giants are an A-tier team. On to the New York Jets.
The Jets are just a lesser version of the Giants.
I agree, Joe, they are a C-tier team. We're on to the Philadelphia Eagles.
My favorite team.
Unlike the Bears, the Eagles were actually the best team in the NFL last year.
I think they deserve at least an A tier. Next is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
My other favorite team.
Just like the Jets and Giants, the Steelers are a lesser version of the Eagles.
Fair point, Don. I'll give them a high C tier just to be nice. Next up is the Seattle Seahawks.
The Seahawks are actually a pretty decent team. Put them in B tier.
Okay, Donnie, I'll put them in B tier. Next is the San Francisco 49ers.
San Fran is like the Raiders. Their fans can sometimes be annoying, but San Fran is a little better than Las Vegas.
I feel like San Fran deserves an honest A tier. Up next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They performed well the past few years, but their performance last year wasn't too great.
Don has a point, Barack.
All right, then I'll put them in B tier. Next is the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans have their good and bad moments, and for that I say put them in B tier.
All right, Joe, B tier it is then. Last but not least, we have the Washington Commanders.
Washington did pretty good this season. They were the first team to beat the Eagles, but they started doing trash toward the end of the season because of Carson Wentz replacing Heineke.
That seems just about right, Donald.
I agree with both of you. I'll give Washington a B tier. Hey guys, I think the tier list looks pretty good.
I do too, Barack. It looks great.
I had fun making this tier list with you guys.
I'll see you guys later.